You are going to read an article about what happened to the passengers on Flight 571. Quickly scan the article to check your predictions about what happened next. On Friday, October 13, 1972, a plane that had been flying from Uruguay to Chile with 45 people on board crashed into a mountain in the Andes. Flow some of the passengers managed to live as one of the great survival stories. 29 people died in the crash and in the weeks following it. On the mountain, it was freezing cold and the survivors stayed inside the crashed plane to stay warm. They had very little food and were in very great danger while they waited for a rescue team. After 11 days on the mountain, they found a small radio on the plane and they heard the news that the rescue teams had stopped searching for them. All hope was gone. They were alone and terrified. Days became weeks. 2 months after the crash, after they had waited for summer to arrive, 3 of the passengers, Roberto Cainasa, Nando Peredo, and Antonio Vizintin, left to search for help. Each man wore 3 pairs of socks, with a plastic bag around each foot to keep the water out, boots, 4 pairs of trousers and 4 jumpers. Many of the clothes were from the people who had died in the crash. They also took with them a large sleeping bag that they had made. Only they could save the others now. How did these brave young men cope with the journey? None of them had climbed mountains before and it was hard. They climbed very dangerous, icy peaks, trying to reach the top of the mountain. Some days later, exhausted and cold, they reached it. They had imagined this moment for days. On the other side of the mountain, they wanted to see a valley below that would take them out of the mountains. But instead of a valley, they saw more of the same snowy peaks. Lots of them. They weren't near the end of the mountains, they were in the middle of them. What could they do now? But there was still hope. Peredo saw 2 low peaks about 65 kilometers away that didn't have snow on them. If they could get there, they would be out of the high Andes. But to reach peaks, they would need to walk for more days and they didn't age enough food. But Peredo had a solution. Vizintin could red the plane and he and Cainasa would take his food. They and the plan, and Cainasa and Peredo continued their journey. As they walked, the area around them slowly began to chafle. The men discovered a small river. The sun was warmer. A few days of walking, the snow had disappeared completely and flowers were everywhere. This is the valley, Cainasa asked excitedly. This is the way out. Soon, they saw a few cans on the ground in some farm, in a field. They knew there must be people somewhere nearby. On December 21st, after 10 days, the exhausted men reached the town of Los Matines in Chile, and a rescue team went to save the other passengers high up in the Andes. What happened to them? Fortunately, they had all survived as they waited for the others to get help. The memories of the crash in the Andes would be with them forever, but their ordeal was over. They had made it out, alive.